As promised, we bring to you timely topics, and our next one is a doozy. Our next speaker is Detective Roddy Winder with the Wichita Police Department Financial Crimes Unit. Roddy came and spoke to our group because we have a heightened awareness of identity theft, potential fraud, all of the things, and scared us so much that we said we obviously have to have him come talk at the summit. But it is a fascinating topic that he's going to address with us. Detective Winder is a 20-year veteran of the Wichita PD. He has worked as a patrol officer, community policing, and has been assigned to the Financial Crime Unit for the past 5 years. The Financial Crimes Unit receives more than 12,000 cases per year, including forgery, embezzlement, identity theft, computer crimes, confidence games, and mistreatment of dependent adults. Detective Winder regularly provides training to local financial institutions and organizations regarding recognizing crime trends to avoid falling victim to fraud. I promise you, you won't be disappointed.
All right. Well, I'm really excited about talking today. I love coming out and doing presentations to a wide variety of groups of people. Hopefully you find some benefit out of this. As she mentioned, I've been on the department for a little over 22 years, got a lot of experience in a lot of different areas, but my favorite thing I've done so far has been financial crimes. I really enjoy following everything as far as it can and getting some benefit back to the victims on there. Our unit is led by Sergeant Kelly Marr. Then there's myself and 3 other detectives. So out of those 12,000 cases she mentioned, there's only 4 of us that work those cases. So the cases that actually make it to the table to work are very limited. We usually, each detective only can do about 250 cases per year. As mentioned briefly there, these are the ones that are covered, are most common ones that we do anyway. The credit cards, a lot of employee embezzlement cases, insufficient funds, forgeries, identity theft is huge. Scams and confidence games is probably our largest growing category that we have now. And that covers a wide range of things. Financial crimes involving seniors, computer crimes, and then the new favorite topic of cryptocurrency, which I'm the only detective in the region that does cryptocurrency, and we'll cover a little bit of that as well. So the primary ones we're going to cover today, we're just going to touch base on identity theft and confidence games, because those are the ones that are most likely to impact this group of people in here. Obviously, if you're affected by one of the others, you can always contact us, and we're happy to help you on those as well. But we're going to touch on these. So, identity theft. Unfortunately, it's real easy to do right now. I don't know about people in this room, but if you Google my name, Roddy Winder, I am the only one in the whole country, okay? I come up, you can learn all kinds of things about me. What I did in the military, where I went to college at, what I do now. You can find addresses I lived at. That's just open public source information. I would probably guess that the same is true about some people in this room as well. Google your name, somebody gets a piece of email with your information on it. They can easily put your name, information about you in Google, and bam, they've got information. From there, you can go lots of different sources. There's sources you can pay for, and then, unfortunately, there's the dark web. You can pay people on the dark web to literally seek out information about people on there. So it's super easy for them to do. Social media. We use social media in the police department to find out information about people all the time, because most people just have their pages open. We recommend to people, don't leave your pages open so that anybody can just put in your name and find your Facebook page. Because then when they do, they find your friends, your family. They can click on them, find out information. Mail. What comes to your post office box, what comes to your work. Unfortunately, that's not a secure means of delivering anything. It sits in a box, waits for you to come home and pick it up. We catch people every single week with back seats full of mail. I work with the postal inspector regularly, and they find mail theft is very common nowadays. So like we mentioned on there, the internet, you can find anybody's information out there. Your major social media platforms, keep those secure. Don't put your personal information out there. You know, if you're going on vacation, places you've been, your dog's names, because what do people use for passwords? The favorite places they've been, your dog's name spelled backwards, you know, your kids' birthdays. So when you're putting on there, hey, happy 7th birthday, happy 9th birthday to my daughter, Susie. Well, now they know Susie's birthday. So if when they call in and they give that hint, and the hint is Susie's birthday, all they got to do is scroll back through your Facebook page and find out, oh, there's the password, right? So you got to think about these things, because certainly the criminals, the hackers, the scammers, they're thinking about those things. Don't provide your information without verifying who you're talking to. You know, if the bank calls you and says, hey, we're just calling to verify your information, can you give me this? Well, make sure it's actually your bank. Don't use the same passwords for everything, because if somebody does use phishing or some type of scam to get your info and they get your password to your email or to your bank account, now they have the password to every single thing that you do if you use the same password for every single platform. So you got to mix those up, make them something completely different. Don't use public computers. That can include like a work computer. If other people use that, don't put your personal information on there. Don't use public Wi-Fis. If you're sitting at Starbucks, a lot of people's phones are set up to automatically connect to open Wi-Fis. Make sure yours is not like that, because if you're sitting at Starbucks, there can be a hacker sitting right there in Starbucks that's using, they have simple devices called pineapples, where they can set up a fake Wi-Fi that looks just like Starbucks, but now all your information filters through their router first before it goes to Starbucks. And they're recording everything, recording all your keystrokes, everything that you do in there. So don't use any public Wi-Fis. And we recommend that you tell your friends and family to do that same thing, because if you're friends with your son or daughter and their Wi-Fi is public, now those people can see you and see other friends that you have and can easily send you friend invites. So we recommend that you try and keep the group of people you associate with to use the same standards that you use as well. And then don't accept friend invites from people you don't know. If you think it might be somebody, ask people, follow up on it. You know, hey, do you know this person? Because once they get access, they're going to copy all your information. They're going to go in and make a list of who all of your friends are, who all the businesses you follow, so they can start building that profile to prepare for that identity theft. United States Postal Service. Unfortunately, most people in here probably mail things. We all receive things in the mail. I work with Agent Kearney from the post office. He tells people at our presentations all the time, don't mail things. If you're gonna mail them, I know, he says, you know, you would think our business isn't gonna advertise that, and we're not, but if you're gonna mail it, walk into the post office and put it inside the building, or hand it physically to a carrier. We have had cases, I had one just last month where we arrested a guy here, and he had a postal key. That key fit every box in Wichita, every single box. And I had arrested him. I didn't arrest him. The group that arrested him brought him into me because he had multiple cases of forgery. Well, he had a postal key on him. Called Agent Kearney up. Sure enough, he verified it was a postal key. And he is going to try and charge him, but how much damage has that guy done already, right? How many thousands of pieces of mail were taken that he passed on to other people? Recent incidents, we're just going to go over a few examples to show people how easy this is and how you can be affected by it. Because I'm sure either individuals in here or businesses do mail checks to other people, right? So we have a lot of check washing cases. We have cases all year round, but specifically at tax season, either your businesses or your personal stuff is getting mailed. They know that. So those people that have keys are targeting areas. We have a lot of theft like in the waterfront area because there's a lot of bigger businesses up there, or businesses that mail checks and information. So they target those areas specifically. They're going to take that check, and then they're just going to change one piece of information on it, and that's who it's paid to. Instead of it going to the IRS, they're going to put their name or their made-up business or their made-up stolen identity. They stole somebody else's identity to open a bank account that's somewhere else, and they're going to deposit that $100,000 check. And it's super easy to do online. A lot of people, you can do mobile deposits. Well, if you've already opened a business account, a lot of banks will allow you to do high dollar checks mobily. Usually if it's a personal account, it's a smaller dollar value, but we've already seen larger banks allowing a business to mobile deposit checks that are $50,000, $100,000. So that is exactly what they're doing, because they don't have to walk into the bank. They just got to take a picture of the check they just stole from you, and then they use some acetone, or nowadays we have computers. They reprinted it on a computer, edited out the name, made it payable to their new business, and now they just got to take a picture of it. And who's verifying that at the bank? A computer is. So the computer can't tell the difference in what went on, right? Here's a simple example. So this was a check that was put into the mail. The bottom one, the victim had the carbon copy, okay? So this is a personal check, but you can see it was originally made out to Sedgwick County Treasurer. Now it's made out to Cassandra Perry. But looking at the check, you can't tell the difference between the two, because unfortunately, Cassandra Perry is really good at what she does. She just used some acetone in a hotel room, erased the pay to the order of, then put her information on there. But you can see she also changed the amount from $390 to $790, right? Anybody else notice any other glaring differences that she changed? Yep. So the reference or memo line, right? So on the check itself, it says for and paid, but we know the real check actually says memo. And then it was for her Subaru car tags, right? Well, that's because Cassandra Perry had to use acetone and it wiped out part of the word memo. So she changed it to for with a different pen and then wrote paid in there, right? But she was able to cash that check at the bank. She took it to the bank. They verified it. It's a good check number. Signature really did belong to Bonnie. So the bank cashed that check. It wasn't until it got back to Bonnie that she was like, hey, wait a minute. That was for my car tags, right? And so we traced it back and found pictures of Cassandra Perry, who unfortunately is a very well-known forger. But that check was stolen out of a mailbox. She had Bonnie put it in her mailbox at her house, threw up the little red flag. Well, that's just a little red flag. It told the criminal there's something of value in there. They came by, took it, and then took it back to Cassandra Perry in her hotel room. So what to do if you think your identity's been stolen? Check your credit report. You can get free credit reports. Check and see if there's anything on there that didn't belong to you. Then you're going to contact your local law enforcement. IC3.gov, which is the FBI's webpage. That is usually if it's going to be identity theft on a higher dollar value. In general, they don't look at it unless it's over $300,000. But sometimes multiple people that have been affected by the same criminal total up to that. So they still follow up, as well as the FTC has a website where you can put your information in there as well. Contact the business where you think your identity's been used at. It helps sometimes if the victim does that. So when law enforcement contacts them, they already know what they're looking for, and we can get video in order to identify who these people are. When you contact the credit bureau, you can set up locks, temporary or permanent ones. I can't recommend an exact service to use, but there are lots of them out there. You've got LifeLock, Aura, Guardio, NordProtect, that are all examples. Basically, they do everything that you could do yourself, except they do it for you. So it just depends on how much you value your time. Because you can spend hours on the phone with banks, credit card companies, businesses, trying to remedy all this, when those companies will do it all for you. All right. Touch base on scams and confidence games. They cover a wide range of things. So you got phishing scams that's calling information, either you, your bank, your business, calling trying to get information about you by asking other questions. Calling in lottery, you won the lottery, $10 million, $100 million, and they're wanting you to pay taxes on it before they send it to you, drive it to you, whatever the case may be. Warrants, we get a lot of those here locally. Somebody calls in, says you've got a warrant for missing jury duty. You just need to pay $10,000, 20 or 30, and then we'll give it back to you once you attend jury duty. You would be surprised. We get people calling in all the time saying, hey, I just paid this $30,000 fee for jury duty, but I don't know when I'm supposed to attend. Can you tell me? Well, I can tell you, you just got scammed. Let's find some information, see if we can track these people down, right? Pretending to be law enforcement happens now and then, usually related to one of those other scams. Pretending to be bank employees. That happens every single week. Somebody gets a text message. Fidelity Bank is telling you, hey, did you just make this $9 purchase in Ohio? Hit yes or no. Well, we don't want you to click the actual buttons on there because that was sent to you probably by a scammer. Go ahead and call Fidelity Bank, but use the back of your bank card. Use the person you know at Fidelity to call them, or look it up, specifically like on your actual statement that you have, right? That way you're ensured you're actually calling Fidelity Bank, or just drive down there to talk to them. That way you can eliminate those. Fidelity Bank, Meritrust, Intrust, all recently have put out information saying, hey, we will not ask you the following things. Our employees are not going to ask you for your PIN codes. They're not going to ask you for your 6-digit verification code, but the scammers are. Emails, a lot of scams on those recently. They'll send you a link that might pertain to some current business activity that you're doing, just wanting you to click that link. That link is then automatically going to download malware to your computer that's going to allow them to watch your computer, mimic your computer, and they might sit there in the background for months just collecting information, collecting data about different businesses, collecting stuff about what you're doing, where you're sending payments, just so they can follow up later in order to infiltrate and send you an invoice for something you're expecting to pay, but they're going to do it in order to get the money sent to them. Romance scams. Online, it's scary. You can be anybody that you want. We get those, unfortunately, every single week as well. Every week, we get people that fall victims to a romance scam where they're talking to somebody online who they've never, ever met in person, but somehow has gained enough trust to start sending money. Usually starts small. I've seen cases right here in Wichita that started out with $20 for phone services, turned into $800 for rent every month for 2 or 3 years, and then turned into, hey, I'm liquidating part of my investment and sending you $200,000 to invest in this other thing. And at the same time, they've never, ever met this person, never talked to them outside of the phone. Never seen a video of them, but they've got the hooks in so good that they're able to get these people to wire transfer money from investment firms or bank accounts to them. So you got to be cautious with those as well. So I'm going to run through an example here just to show you that how easy these things happen and that it can happen right here. So we've got Renee. Renee got a text message from Apple about a $300 purchase of electronics in Utah. Well, right there, see to confirm this and no, you did not. She immediately hit, no, I didn't do this. Well, what'd that do? That sent approval to the hacker to automatically call her. Her phone rang immediately and she was talking to them. Wanted to verify who she was. She started just automatically, hey, because this is the bank, this is Apple calling me, who I use regularly, started telling them this is my name, verified her account, not by them saying it to her, but by her just giving her information because she trusted the call that was made and she was concerned about this $300 purchase, right? Well, Apple says there's a group of Russian hackers that are trying to get into her account and use her information. They think that they would like assistance but by them doing assistance through her, allowed them to install AnyDesk onto her computer. So now that they've installed AnyDesk, they can see all of her computer work, everything that's going on. So while she's on there, eventually, when I went back and looked, I could see that the IP address that actually accessed her computer at that time was coming from another country on there. But they told her, yep, now we can see that it's just this Russian IP and these scammers are already involved in your computer, and that's how they're doing this, right? So Apple wants to catch these because it's affecting thousands of people. But in order to do this, we need more money. We got to bait these hackers to get into your account. Now, at the time, she believed it. When we went back and talked about it, and I was like, Apple's a $1 billion company. Why do they need $20,000 from you as bait? And she was like, yeah, I kind of see that now. But at the time, they were very convincing because you guys are good at your jobs and I'm good at my job because I do this all the time, right? These hackers, these scammers, they do this all the time. They sound convincing. They have the right info, the right answers all the time. So they had convinced her to put $20,000 in bait. And the way to do this was to put it into a Federal Reserve. This Federal Reserve is actually known as a Bitcoin machine. We have about 100 of them here in Wichita. I'll touch base on those a little bit at the end, but we have about 100 of them. Those 100 that we have, she went to one of them, followed their instructions that she gave, and she fed $20,000 into this machine. Of course, she had to go to her bank first to withdraw the $20,000, and she told them she was paying cash for a car for a grandson. She lied about the information, right? Because the hackers told her that they've infiltrated everything in regards to you. And she believed it so much, she was willing to lie to the bank that's kept her money safe for decades, right? So she lied to them, got the money, put it in this Bitcoin ATM to send it. Apple sent her official looking documents and they look good. They're pretty realistic, right? To show her, hey, thanks for this. Once we catch these guys, we're going to refund your money. Here's how it'll come, etc. Then they told her, worked perfect. We got an arrest, sent her pictures and everything of the arrests that occurred, right? I later showed her through Google search that this was an arrest. It was real, but it was an arrest that occurred in California of a different person. Here's the whole info about him because it was just taken off a public website, right? We got to catch more of these people. She was excited, caught one. Here she is helping lots of people. She sent more money, put it in a Bitcoin machine. Wouldn't you know it, another person got arrested. This got Renee even more excited. Man, I am really helping these people. This is going to be amazing, right? So she put another $20,000 in there. Apple called, told her, and why Apple's orchestrating all this instead of law enforcement, I don't know, but Apple's really good at this, right? So Apple told her, hey, they've already taken $20,000 a few times. It doesn't look like they're interested. They went to the account. We can see the IP. $20,000 just isn't enough anymore. We're down to these last few important people. And they were able to convince her because they could see her computer, see all the things that she'd done. She had lots of money in retirement accounts. They were able to convince her to liquidate $700,000 and have it wire transferred from her investment company to a bank account at another bank, right? She did this because she thought, I'm going to catch the biggest scammer on the planet. This is going to be great. And they still sent her a document that said, hey, in January, we're going to catch this guy. We're going to get you your money back. Here's an official letter from the IRS. So why the IRS is refunding this money, I don't know, but it looked like an official document. Renee believed it. So she did. She went to her broker, got money liquidated, sent a large chunk of what was there to another bank via wire transfer. He told her several times, I don't want to do this. This is a bad idea. She eventually convinced him. He sent the wire transfer. Okay. So Renee demanded it was sent. She sent it. She's waiting for this big arrest. She's expecting any day now that this major Russian hacker to be arrested, and she's one of the heroes that got this done, right? They keep sending her information, hackers looking, not doing anything. Then finally they quit responding to her. Why is that? They got her $700,000, right? The wire transfer went, the bank verified it. They've had enough time to get it kicked out. It's gone. Finally, a friend convinced her that you need to contact somebody else because they've seen presentations and stuff. They contacted me on there. She thought she was helping it and going to get a refund, so she wasn't concerned. Eventually, she contacted me and I helped with this. I was able to only recover about $55,000 for her, but you can see it all started with just clicking one link on there. It was so simple, and that's what started the whole ball rolling. So just to touch base, try not to click on links you're not aware of. Look up phone numbers yourself. Have a system in place so that if large amounts of money are removed, the bank or your investment firm has a backup person to call. Hey, Susie's in here trying to take out $100,000. They know they can call, a son, a daughter, an investment partner, somebody else to verify something before they do any transfers. Contact the financial institution yourself, not just by phone, but in person. And if you need help, call me. I love going down the rabbit hole and catching these guys. It's what I enjoy doing.